Court is now in session. The people versus God, the Lord. 5. The court shall now call Moses to the witness stand. Moses, do you swear to tell the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Moses, it is said that Abraham was considered righteous in Genesis chapter 15 and verse 5. And Abraham believed God, and it was accredited to him for righteousness. Was it not, Moses, that Abraham was accredited righteousness by proving his faith in chapter 22 when he sacrificed Isaac on the altar? Can you explain the discrepancy here between what Paul says, that Abraham was considered righteous before he was circumcised and before even Abraham was born, and James saying that Abraham was considered righteous after what he did when he sacrificed his son, when he offered his son, and how Paul says it was before he was circumcised, and how James says it was after? Yes, Your Honor. Let me clear that up with what had happened. Abraham was told that he would be his descendants would be as many as the seas, and at that time he believed me. I had put faith in him, and so his faith was the faith to know that I would give him descendants. So the prophecy that this was going to happen will come to pass in the future, but I have already declared it to him and told him it would happen without qualifying it or saying that he would thwart my will, but that he would carry his faith out when I had asked him to offer his son. And for the purposes of not just showing the Israel, that is the sons of Israel, who are the promised child of Isaac and not of Ishmael, my other son born of the maidservant, but salvation comes through the line of Isaac to all who believe, for not all of the children of Israel are Israel, according to Paul. So when I was told to, or when Abraham was told to offer his son on the altar, it was looking forward to the Israel of God, the Israel of the chosen race of those who are believing, and not just the fleshly line of Israel, those who would be born again. So because Abraham had not held back his son, because I had given him faith to carry out the action of his words, this blessing of him being the father of the nation of Israel, and it was fulfilled in that it was a sign that the Messiah would come, and that all who believed in the sacrifice would become Abraham's heirs and part of the spiritual Israel, and not just the Israel of the flesh. So Abraham was righteous when he believed God, just as Paul had said. This righteousness came before circumcision when he believed. So Abraham is a pattern for all who believe and are not circumcised, and those who believe who were circumcised, for all have sinned, and their circumcision means nothing. Only faith. Does their faith need to be tested for the righteousness to be granted to them? No. The righteousness was granted to Abraham when he believed, and he carried out. He was given works to do. He was saved unto good works, which God had prepared for Abraham in advance. But he had already foreordained for Abraham to be the father of many nations, and Abraham believed God, and his sins were forgiven, according to Romans chapter 4. So all those who believe are righteous and their sins are forgiven, and this not for those just Abraham's line, but for all who would believe. For Abraham is the father of all who believe, according to Romans chapter 4. So therefore, it is not to the whole world that righteousness comes, because righteousness only comes through faith, and forgiveness of sins comes through faith. So although God had been lifted up, as it says, to draw all men to him, it was not every single person in the world, but he was lifted up, according to verse 33. John had spoken correctly. No further questions, Your Honor.